And what do I have to enter? And oh, I don't. Okay. I'm in the lobby with you, XD. Yeah, none of them are in it because it's a bug because Smite sucks. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hello and welcome, Smite fans. We are back. We have Elemental GG versus the Dragon Knights, the first game of our weekly tournament. Joining me is not a Valve game. How are you doing, Valve?
I'm doing pretty good right now.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well. Are you excited for this game between Elemental and Dragon Knights?
Definitely. The first bands coming out here, Robin on the side of Elemental GG and Osiris for Dragony Knights. What do you think of these bands so far?
I think they're really interesting. I don't really like them. I think that like Susanoo and Chang'e are really strong as well right now, and Hoonbots that are all really viable bands. Even something like Thoth. I know these are sometimes like really popular ranked bands, but I don't really think the Osiris is necessarily should be there. I mean, the Bologna even makes much more sense than the
I,
Osiris
I
band,
I'm
I
gonna
think.
interrupt you here. Osiris, the thing with Osiris here, like Osiris establishes so much lane dominance and is so annoying to deal with and to peel off the backline because he just sticks and just walks at you pretty much. And that's sort of the thing. And those two bands you mentioned before, Chang'e and Osiris, both being banned out here for the respective sides. First pick on Elemental GG, insta-lock the Cernatives.
Yeah, there's no question in that, but this does, I think, give over the opportunity for Terra, Sylvanas, Bologna, as I see
Bologna.
hovered, and there's also still Thoth up, which I think Thoth is definitely a
Bologna
top Hoon later.
Fafnir. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I definitely could see the Fafnir being picked up. Looks like it's going to be the Hoonbots instead. I think it's the best jungler out there when you don't have the Susanoo, so definitely really good picks from the Dragon Knight so far.
Thoth being hovered here for Elemental GG. Thoth brings so much presence in the late game. In the early stages, he's kind of weak. His clear is a little weak until he gets that mirror online, but then he's got a pretty fine time normally building that Doom Orb, and he swings late game.
Yeah, definitely. I think Thoth is a really strong character. What's really makes him so good is his range. And we see Ganesha for the first time in the PSL. We're going to see Ganesha. He's available for play for us since he's available in ranked. And we're going to be really excited to watch him play.
Personally, I love Ganesha. I think he brings a lot to the table. He has the silence, the damaging. That orb does so much damage, even in support. Like if you build him a little bit of damage, like if you play him in solo lane, that thing swings for about 300 to 400 on squishies. It's crazy. That ultimate as well has potential to go off. Dragony Knights should watch out for that.
Yeah, I definitely think the Ganesha can be something that's used very well, and both teams have drafted really good comps, I think, so far. I think the Fafnir or the Terra probably would have been better than the Khepri, but I still think Khepri's like right behind them in in value, and I definitely don't think it's a bad pick for them.
Well, I think the Fafnir should have been taken over the Khepri, but we do not know. Maybe Khepri's like his comfort pick, is his best god. He's not as comfortable in the Fafnir. You know what? I'm not going to judge him for it. Fafnir would have been very powerful, but it would leave the carries of Elemental GG with, excuse me, of the other team with very vulnerable in the backline. Fafnir, Bologna, and Hunbots are very dive oriented. Bans coming out on both sides, Medusa and Hercules. Really prioritizing the solo lane.
Yeah, for sure, I have to agree with you there. I definitely do like what I see so far. I mean, you have already your Bologna picks. So you want to push out some of the other solo laners, but
But
I mean, I definitely think I would like to see possibly some of the gods we just talked about removed. I mean, Fafnir really fits the Pacific perfect, but
well,
Terra could still definitely be banned and played in the solo.
the whole premise behind the Bologna. I don't like the solo lane bans here. Bologna can go into anything incredibly confidently other than Osiris. Osiris is the only thing that gives her trouble. And it's kind of crazy how Osiris is the only thing that gives her trouble. So banning out the solo lanes here, I don't think isn't the best idea, but I guess maybe he doesn't like fighting the Hercules, or the team doesn't like fighting the Hercules, because Hercules can be a very big nuisance in the late game.
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about how Osiris is probably the only god that can really deal with her in the lane, but I think there's another great way to deal with bully gods like Bologna in the lane in solo, and that's just play a Guardian. I mean, you're going to be essentially unkillable unless you make a large mistake after like level 4. I mean, you're the solo lane player here, Valve, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So I would say just play
It's
something.
actually quite rough, because if you get outpushed in the mid, you can't get your own blue buff. And when you don't have that blue buff in the Guardians the early game, it's not more or less about the blue buff, it's more about the farm. And then you fall behind as a Guardian, which isn't the biggest deal, but like it still puts you behind. Now Thor and Wukong being hovered here. This I think these are both like lock in immediately picks right now. These are both incredibly powerful.
I think Serket's also quite good. I think Thor is in kind of an awkward place right now.
Well, Serket is banned.
Ah, I see. But either way, I think there are still maybe a couple other gods you might want to look at before the Thor. I don't think Thor is bad, but he's in a really awkward place right now. He doesn't quite fit into comps, right? Like you're sitting
I'm not entirely sure with that.
Yeah.
I think Thor has incredible with his movement and his ability to gank. I think he's incredibly powerful. Comboing with the Thoth, the wall hammer into the Thoth one is incredibly powerful. He also provides nice peel for his team with that wall.
I really just feel like Thor and is kind of an inconsistent in the way he's like played and the way he ends up showing results. Like there are some games where he gets off to a pretty good early game, gets his buffs, but whoa is right. The Zeus hover and immediate lock, and we have a squishy Meiju. We can see how the comp of elementals all come together now with the Khepri. This was all planned before, I think, Valve.
That's actually the comp on Dragon Knights, isn't it? Yeah, it's the weird smite bug where they keep switching sides. The comp on Dragon Knights is being with the Zeus Khepri combo. That is incredible for the Zeus to protect him. The whole point, when you pick Zeus, the enemy team instantly goes, all right, we got to kill Zeus before he kills all of us. With the Khepri, that makes that insanely difficult.
Yeah, so we should have a short spectator delay. So what do you think about these two comps? Really quickly, we should be getting into game in something like 30 seconds or so, Valve.
The comps here revolve around two things, right? Dragon Knights revolve around that Zeus. Zeus needs to be the one who gets all the protection from everybody on the team. You play around that Zeus will become massive. And you just win the game because Zeus is just Zeus and he does things. Bellona will have fine lane pressure. I think the Zeus should be babied or babysat in the lane.
I think what I would kind of like to see is either an early rotation of Khepri into the mid lane or for Khepri to start in the mid lane perhaps. I think that would be really, really good. Possibly just to start and say, hey, Zeus, we're just going to sit with you the whole time. You're always going to have peel. You're always going to have someone to protect you and keep you safe. And that's really the whole goal.
Well, in this case, with the Khepri starting in mid, a lot of supports are starting in dual lane now, opposed to doing those weird rotations at the start of the game where they go like soul lane or whatever. A lot of them are going back to the normal dual lane start, so I don't think the Khepri will do that. But I mean, it's not a bad idea. Hunbot's Zeus push is not going to get outpushed by the Thor Thoth. I think that push is pretty even, because if you can keep that Zeus from going to the side of the wave, he won't be able to clear very effectively with that shield. That's the one weakness with the Zeus in the early game, is that his clear isn't that great, while Thoth just has a straight line skill shot. Hunbot should help with that clear, but I think the clear's pretty even in the mid.
Hopefully, yeah, Thoth, I definitely say Zeus is a better clear over the Thoth just because Thoth's early clear is so bad. But the thing about this is it really depends on Blitzkov. Is he going to make the mistake of pulling the wave apart? So a lot of Hunter jungler players would go for their clear because they feel more comfortable getting in position before the mages get their clear off. And if he splits up the creeps, Zeus won't be able to hit the whole wave, or at least some of the front melee minions with his shield and his 2. But if he does manage to get it, they'll destroy this wave in about 3 seconds.
We spent a lot of time talking about the Zeus, but the Ganesha pick is something we haven't seen in the PSL yet. How do you think this is going to go?
Well, I think in the lane it's going to be Khepri versus Khepri, right? I mean, that's really the story. I mean, the way they clear is, but we see a little fight actually in the middle lane. Actually, left lane is fighting, but in the mid, they're going to be a gank. Looking for something is Sun Wukong. Blitzkrieg's going for the clear as well, but they have definitely a wave advantage. They could probably turn around, but Vulcan's taking a lot of damage in the double tap, and now he's dead. Tiger is going for more on Blitzkrieg, but he's going to be fine. That's an early gank with complete ranked cheese, but it works out for them. The first blood goes to Elemental.
I wouldn't call that cheese. I would call it an unawareness from the side of Dragon Knights here. The funny thing is, his name is Tiger Slayer, and he used the tiger to get the kill there. That was pretty funny. Anyway, bad jokes aside, dual lane now getting out-pressured.
Yeah, but now Blitzkrieg's made the rotation, but he's absolutely no CC and no leap. He can't do anything. He's just going to watch them walk away, and he's wasted a lot of time farming here. And now Thor, level 2, is going to be able to rotate either into the mid camps or his own red buff. Looks like his own red buff. He invaded the speed before with Thoth and Sun Wukong, and now they're a good amount ahead, about 500 gold or so.
I like this a lot, actually. You gank that early, Zeus cannot get away from you. Get him down while he's low. Like, late game Zeus will still be Zeus, but keeping him away from becoming, I guess, the powerhouse that Zeus can become is a great way for Elemental to deal with this stuff.
Yeah, the other really good thing, right, is that Thoth is also incredibly powerful late game. He's not quite as strong in the middle game as Zeus. He's not quite as strong late game, but he's definitely incredibly powerful, and he can definitely dish out the damage from safety, and he also has a really fast dash that can get him out of dodge when Zeus goes to ult him.
I just thought of something here. Thoth could potentially one-shot the Zeus if the Zeus is not careful. That would be absolutely devastating for Dragon Knights if Zeus is just immediately eliminated in the fight. Oracle's going to Elemental GG here, but it looks like there's a gank coming in.
Yeah, it looks like there could be some kind of fight on the left side. Not much. Ooh, that bounce. Ugh, I could see the pain on Ganesh's face as that one hit. But either way, they're just going to go right back to their lane, continue farming, and be A-okay.
Now, interesting starts from the mids. Vulcan's Headlights going for the Boombas, Sands of Time start, which a lot of mids have been drifting away from recently, but that's besides the point. Thoth looks like he's rushing that Book of Thoth from that Sands of Time Book 1 start.
Yeah, definitely a start we've seen coming out. A lot of starting from the best. He was actually starting Book 2 for a while when Hades didn't, right before Hades got a few things nerfed about him. He was running that in the middle lane. But definitely really good for Thoth, I'd say, because he relies on his own items so much, as it is on his namesake. It's really, really valuable for him to get it up and running as soon as possible. And finishing boots isn't quite as important as long as you place it in the mid. But hold on, fighting the left side, Sportant's being silenced out. There's the throw as well. It's only going to land to Hoppo. The Sportant's been walled off. There's a Ganesh ult as well, but it's not going to do any damage, but he is going to catch him into an awkward position. Supportance is going to be the first one to fall, but now Marvin Doe is in a lot of hurt. Now Zeus, Vulcan's Headlights picking up the kill in return. Here's the Hoonbot's ult, doing a lot of work, but targeting Min, who's just going to silence out Vulcans, but now there's a detonate. J-Min's dead as well. 2-for-1 trade so far. Thor running away to get away as much as possible. I don't think he's going to make it. Oh my gosh, the triple bounce is not going to get it, but there is going to be the follow-up. If the detonate's going to get the kill here, it is not. Just barely laid to rest, gets out, but what a fight. 2-for-1 trade in favor of Dragon Knights.
Incredibly unfortunate timing for that, because Tiger Slayer at that time had disconnected, and unfortunately Bellona had already hit him, so the kill went to the Bellona. But then they could not pause because of that fight going on, and then it just went disastrous for them as well.
Yeah, really incredible Zeus rotation on that side. They completely ended up flanking them. They did such a good job. The Ganesh ult was like a little bit off, so he didn't take as much damage, and probably Khepri didn't die as quickly. But in the same breath, it was such a good rotation, and Khepri being in that awkward position forced them to overcommit for that kill.
And that Zeus rotation really put him back into the game. 2 kills to his namesake right now. And that is huge for Zeus. Zeus is one of the, I'd say, top 5 characters you don't want to get kills in the early game. Only above him would probably be Kali and maybe Susano. You don't want them getting kills in the early game because they can carry a game very hard. Zeus is going to start swinging once he gets those pen boots online, just because he's now ahead because of those 2 kills.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. It's just going to be quite an interesting going so far. He definitely started that Bumba's mask. I think he'll be able to finish pen boots off his back, like you're saying. But either way, we should be able to get into game pretty quickly from what I'm hearing. We do have a pause out from Tiger Slayer, but I think we should be able to talk through it here, Valve. So is there anything out of the builds interesting, besides obviously just, Khepri has Sunder, because that's meta, right?
Well, checking in on the golden hand, Zeus only has about almost 1,500, so he will not be able to finish those pen boots, or at least for another 2 waves here. But interesting little things here in the builds or in the picks right now. I don't see anything strange in the builds, other than maybe Wukong having mana pots, but I think that might have been either a mistake or he likes the mana pots, because Wukong is very mana intensive, and after that blue buff runs out, it gets pretty rough for you. You do have to back a lot, you have to bird back in, it's pretty rough. But otherwise, I don't really see much interesting. A lot of the Hoyis nowadays are going for that Bluestone pendant. Cernanos as well going for the Bluestone. Bellona's Master normal on support by now, I'm going to assume. Girdle. Excuse me, not Girdle. Frenzy for all these new players here. Girdle was what it used to be called. It used to be an active, when you used to have to buy actives. Besides the point.
Oh, dark times.
dark times. What do you mean dark
No,
times?
no, they were great. I loved it. No,
You were
you're
able
fine.
to gank mid. They didn't have beads or anything yet. You were just like, and then a long cooldown on beads rank 1. Beads removed cooldowns by 3 seconds. It was crazy, man. I loved that. Now you just get them for free. You don't gotta work for them.
All right, game is unpausing here as you stare down Tiger Slayer, hoping he's going to return. He has made it back into the game, and this game will continue. I think there was only about like 5 minutes of pause time. Both teams do have 9 minutes, so they should have no trouble if they ever have to pause again for this game. But either way, it's going to continue. And I think I just love the fact we see a Khepri Sunder. I mean, and I love the fact that that's just meta. I mean, the item's getting nerfed, but just
That nerf isn't going to do much.
why is it in the game?
Why? What do you mean, why is it in the game? It is a beautiful item. I should be able to solo Barracuda at 34 minutes just because I have Sunder, okay?
100% design
Literally is
intention.
100 solo. Okay, no joke, story time with Valve, okay?
Okay.
100% solo. I was playing Bologna, he was playing Shibalanke. He had 6 stacks on his passive, right? I Eagles rallied him, I sundered him, and I started bodying him, right? Tire 0 to 100 solo. I think he clipped it. Gank on the right side here to try to relieve some pressure from Tiger Slayer, who was unfortunately killed when he was walking into tower when he disconnected, and the Bologna could not stop getting the kill. So now she's ahead whether or not she likes it.
I think what's really funny is,
speed invade.
Yeah, speed invade is gonna happen, but I don't think too much is gonna come out. Late Rest is gonna take some damage with the wall out, but Blitzkov, there's actually the ultimate. No beads there for Thor. He's gonna be able to hammer away though, no problem. Eagles rally, try to get in range, but nothing's gonna come of it. Tiger Slayer's gonna force them out. Late Rest gets away. Nice and easy. Just the combo was not quite there, and the CC wasn't changed quite probably. Tiger Slayer going in for his blue buff, but yeah, it's gone for him.
I think that ultimate wasn't that. I think that ultimate wasn't necessary. I think he was trying to steal, and then he realized there were 3. The Khepri was there. I think he could have done it if it was just Bologna and Hunbots, because both their ultimates are down. But when he saw the Khepri, he's like, "Nah, I'm not having any of this."
Yeah, I think he missed between his blue buffs getting invaded and him missing a wave. He is 2 levels behind right now.
That death as well.
Yeah, and the death. So he's in a really rough position against the really strong Bologna. But fight on the left side. Hotbo, there's the ultimate from both of them, and he's exploded. Goodbye, Hotbo. Between the polymorph turns him into a little piggy and the Thor ult, he didn't have anywhere to go.
He got absolutely smoked by that combo right there. The beads were up from Hoppo. Interesting, he did not pop them. I guess he assumed he was dead. He saw the gank coming in. He was just like, you know what, screw it. I'll save it for the next one. I do that, honestly.
Yeah, let's see look at the wards coverage. It's really weak from both sides. Actually, the soul laners have more wards placed than anybody else in the game right now. Though we do see a couple other players knocking up there with a couple wards. But we can see the supports haven't put out any so far, and there's not a lot of coverage on this left side except for Elemental's few wards. Actually, pluck in. There's the Zeus ult. It's going to do a lot of damage and wipe out Jim. But now Late to Rest is going to be able to get away. Cernanos on the rotation, but going to think better of it. Wolven just going to give up the free kill, and that's just so much burst coming out of Vulcan's headlights.
Poor Jim, man. He just wanted to protect his Thor, and he just got blown up for it. Gold Fury being started by Dragon Knights here.
Yeah, the Suns are going to be used from Huyi. I don't think this can be stolen. Huyi's going to zone away Marvin, though. He's taking actually a lot of damage because Blitzkov is. There's not a lot of more CC for Blitzkov, but that's okay. He's done his job. That's a free Gold Fury going the way of Dragon Knights. Take a look at the gold difference, about almost a 2,000 lead for them so far in this early game.
Well, what you were saying before about the supports and the warding, both of them had died very early as Tiger Slayer. Poor
Can we get
Tiger
our soloads
Slayer.
in the chat, please? Soloads in the chat, everybody.
Come on, that's not fair. He's 3 levels down right now. That disconnect really killed him. I feel horrible for him.
No solos in the chat, please.
That's disrespectful. Don't hurt my man's Tiger Slayers right now, man.
Dang, that Thor double tap is terrifying.
Oh, jeez, that was rough. I felt that from here.
Yeah, but you can definitely just see, I mean, Thor does do a lot of damage in this mid game, and he's doing a pretty good job. He's put a lot of pressure onto this left side, and there's so many wards for Wolven. You can see it, both the mid camps have wards, as well as in these 2 little small nook and crannies here at entrances on the left side. So Wolven knows when anyone's coming to his lane, he can play super safe, and since he's already ahead of his lane opponent due to that left lane gank, he can definitely try to look for more pressure.
Wolven is in an incredibly good spot right now. He needs to make up for the right side deficit. The tower falling on the solo side for the Sun Wukong here. And this is just going to get even more rough. Bellona versus Wukong is already rough for Wukong, but Bellona just finished her Mystical Mail, and this is just going to be... I feel so... I know this spot that he is in because I'm an absolute feeder, but it's just rough, man. Super rough.
Yeah, and especially he's up against such a strong, highly valued solo laner like this Bellona. He's going to get locked in by the wall. There's the disarm, though. Frosty looking for more, but there's the Sunder onto him. He needs to try to get away. He's going to dash out. There's no more follow-up, though. Tiger Slayer doesn't have any more damage, and it looks like he's just going to be able to walk away. Actually, looks like Frosty's looking for more, but he really needs to back out, even though he is a tanky Bellona.
Very good rotation from Jim here to help with the disengage, but it looks like Dragon Knights are trying to press forward. The double tap taking a clean chunk out of the Hunbots here.
Yeah, Blitzcrank looking for an engage, but there's going to go in. Tiger Slayer doing some damage onto Frosty. There's the Ganesh ult doing a lot of work. Laid to rest now, going up in the air. They're going to take him down. Vulcan's Headlights, the first to fall in this team fight. The main damage dealer for Dragon Knights. Blitzkrank looking to try to get something from return, but Supportants and Frosty are low, and they're going to back off, and it's going to be a free kill for Elemental, and the first trade win they've gotten in a while.
That was huge. Who ended up picking up that kill? Who was it? I wasn't sure. Was it the Thor or the Wukong?
I get lost sometimes. Actually, Hoppo and Woven in the box. There's the Hui Suns, but he's going to go straight into the ultimate. They're going to trade 1-for-1 as both hunters wipe each other off the map.
Do we ask them to type 2 solos in chat?
Can someone type, can we get some Fs and then like clips of that in the chat? That was awesome.
That was hilarious. I love how like Cernados is falling down and then turning him into a pig, but instead of a pig, he just died. That was pretty funny, actually.
Well, what was actually really impressive is Hoppos stunned Wolven out of his dash that was going to dash him away from the Hui Suns. And even though Wolven popped the beats, he still took an extra like 2 or 3 ticks of it, which ended up leading to his death. So really well played from Hoppo to be in such a bad position and turn it around. But either way, both hunters going to trade each other out.
But then again, a really good play from Wolven as well to make sure he throws that ultimate down perfectly so the Hui cannot jump out of it.
Yeah, definitely really well played from both hunters. It's just really funny to watch. I get a giggle out of stuff like that, so.
It's great. When you can like, okay, can I tell another story?
All right, we have more time for story time in this lull of fighting. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was laning against Walrus because I'm a high level feeder, right?
Yeah.
I was laning against Walrus. He was playing Bellona, I was playing Sobek. It was like first blood, I was about to die because he was like going ham on me, right? So I pluck him under tower as he kills me, so he dies to tower. We trade 1-for-1. It was hilarious. I was dying of laughter.
Dude, murders, like when you kill someone from like beyond the grave, is like one of the best feelings ever. It's just like, it's like your revenge, but it's just right there. Hold on, fighting left side. Wolven's gonna ult onto himself, not gonna hit the mark, but there's a Hui Suns and the Sunder onto Wolven. He's gone. Bye. Cernanos, he's not gonna turn anyone off. Just a really awkward self-peel ulti. He could have just turned around for like 0.2 seconds and probably ulted them both and probably been out of there. But Vulcan's taking a lot of damage. There's the Ganesh ult. He's going to get stuck into it. Marvindo getting the kill onto him. Blitzkov looking for more to trade, but there's not much left. A little bit more damage required. Blitzkov running away. Late to rest looking for the chase. Is going to get the blind hammer.
Nice.
He's going to pick him up. 2-for-0 trade so far for Elemental. GG as they tie up the kills.
Here comes Bellona. Nope, not looking for the fight.
No, there is Tiger Slayer as well, looking to zone him out, as both teams are going to kind of look to get some farm, possibly reset for this next fight. But there's 4v3 in the middle lane, but either way, really well played from Elemental, and the Ganesha ult doing so much work, as well as the wall, just locking in this Zeus.
This Thoth very shortly, never mind.
Oh no, Sunder, but a really good silence from Jamin's going to get his jungler out of dodge. Frosty taking some damage from Wolven. He should be able to get out of this one with his team rotating in back behind.
You missed it. But the ricochet on Tiger Slayer. My man's got a triple bounce to the mouth from that Ho-Yi. That was crazy. He was forced into his ultimate because of it. It was... Whew.
Oh, wow, Tiger Slayer. Gonna keep farming up. He'll be fine. These teams are really exciting to watch. Definitely a really great game. Really glad we're casting this game and not some other game, because both these teams are playing very well and they're very competitive in this set. Taking a look at the gold lead so far. If we take a quick look, it's barely 1,000 gold for Dragon Knights and just about 1,000 EXP as well. This game is very close and very competitive, Alf.
That was very smart from the Sun Wukong player here. I was just looking over the soul lane because that's what I do because I'm a soul laner, right? He picks up the 2 smalls of the elemental on the blue buff, backs away, checks because he heard Bellona in the jungle. She shield bashed to get back to lane, heard her in the jungle, backed off, reset, hit level 12 for the smalls, looked like he was going to back, and then when he saw Bologna in lane, he finished his blue buff, picked up the wave, and now is going back.
Yeah, Hoppo Wolven looking for a box.
Dragonite
Nice bounce by Hoppo into Wolven. He's going to get hit by the Bramble Blast, but be able to walk away really easily with that dive bomb. Looking for more fight. Looks like the dual lane's going to be the next target. Jamin's getting plucked in, but he still has the silence. He's going to peel himself out. Blitzkrieg looking for more. There's the Hoonbot's ultimate on top of the Hou Yi Suns. Jamin's going to try to use his ultimate in response, but not going to get much damage off. Wolven's still in a really awkward position. Dive bomb onto him. He's going to be able to dash away. No stun for Hoppo yet. There it's going to land. 2 more autos will do it.
Thor's
one
up.
last one, but Thor is in the air looking for more. He's going to land onto Hoppo on this left side, but as Ferocity in the back line picks up Wolven with his Eagles rally, there's a Zootol only going to land onto Tiger Slayer for a few ticks, but Vulcan's trying to get his Soul Eater out of dodge. There's the Khepri ultimate. Ferocity should revive off this tower. No, he's going to kill himself because he just ran out of the time. Can we get our clips and memes laid to rest? Looking for something in the backline. Gonna get a wall double tap on the Blitzkov, but not quite enough damage. There's the Sunder. Blitzkov is gonna get picked up. Laid to rest, gonna fall, but now Vulcan's Headlights getting a double kill, wiping 2 players off the map as this fight continues. So Gold Fury is gonna be looked at next for Dragon Knights.
I can't help but giggle and smile and say things about that. That double tap was a clean chunk, and then the Sunder, right when the Hunbots landed, to have no reaction from it, killed him right before he hit 12 too, which is very interesting point to bring up because he cannot get that second active, while Thor has that, is now able to pick up that Aegis. But I want to point this out. Ganesh is getting picked on so hard. This poor elephant, man, can't get away from the Hunbots, Hou Yi Suns, and all that. It's just crazy.
For sure. I mean, when his silence and dash are down, his dash is pretty easily interruptible or blockable with walls or just positioning. He really has a tough time staying alive. He doesn't, his ultimate doesn't really keep him really safe. It allows for his team to set up around it and get good position, but doesn't really allow him to get any extra protection, something like a Sobek ult or a Khepri ult.
Interesting little tidbit. Not a lot of people know this, but Ganesh his dash cannot be blocked by walls. He can go through wall. He can go through Ymir wall, Thor wall. I think it's in the text. I'm not sure about that. But
no, you're right. Fair enough. I'll eat my words. I don't play new gods until they're put in a pretty good spot.
Buffed or whatever.
Yeah.
I think when Ganesh was released, he was probably one of the most balanced gods they've released.
Yeah, I don't think
he's gotten any changes.
No, I don't think he has. I mean, I think maybe he might need a little bit of tweaking, but he's almost completely balanced, whereas...
I think he is completely balanced.
Our Ninetales
the Suns and the Zeus ultimate coming out, the Ganesh ult, unfortunately, does not get the Gold Fury. Wasn't able to connect in time. The detonate secured it before the pillars came up.
Yeah, Dragon Knights sitting
gold.
Pretty, about 3,500 gold in the lead, close to 4,000 now. So they're looking to pressure in the middle tower. Elemental looking to try to get something back off this Gold Fury that was taken by Dragon, but they're going to be able to back off pretty easily and just reset, it looks like.
To be fair, they did get Zeus beads, and that's pretty critical for a Zeus. He does have that Aegis still, so he's not as vulnerable, but he loses the beads. The Khepri ultimate is up for support nits here.
Yeah, they're going to just take out this T1 tower pretty easily. Tiger Slayer looking to zone a little bit. Bramble Blast hitting onto a couple members there. But so does the slow. Ferocity's going to miss the Sunder. Is going to be silenced out from his bludgeon by Min. But now, Slayer is taking a lot of damage. Tiger Slayer is going to be the first one to fall. Not going to get his ult off, even if it was available. And that's just going to be another free pick for Dragon. And it seems like they're just getting slightly better picks and awareness onto when they can go in. And that seems to be the difference in these two teams so far.
Zeus is alone here. This is incredibly dangerous for the Zeus player, but Portal even being started by Dragon Knights here.
Yeah, Thorwald's not going to land onto anyone, immediately into the Hoonbots, laid to rest, getting CC chained for days. Beads away and jump for Blitzkov. He's going to be able to get out of dodge, but now Jamin's the next to be turned on. Detonate's not going to do quite enough damage, but it looks like it's going to be a free Portal Demon, and just another pick for Dragon Knights, continuing to extend their lead.
To be completely honest, I said this to Silent Shelves before the cast, right? I thought one team, I'm not going to say who, was going to get the better of the other pretty quickly. This game is actually surprisingly pretty even now. Hoppo looking for something else in the mid lane. Unfortunately, does not connect the Ricochet onto Jimin here. But the ultimate coming out, almost killing Thoth, forcing the Aegis down.
That's rude. That's rude.
That was very rude.
That was very rude. I don't think the Aegis was quite necessary, but just wanted to be safe in case there's any immediate follow-up damage. The Ricochet was already down. I don't know quite used it, but this should be a T1 tower or just some pressure tower damage coming out. On this side, looks like they might look for a red buff invade to just get what they can, but they're going to think better of it being in an awkward position with that Zeus and decide to just let Blitzkov jump over the wall aggressively instead.
Well, here it was very safe. They wanted to make sure nobody was making the rotation. Do you see all these aggressive wards out of Dragonites? I've actually
Hoppo, actually, he's been caught. When he forced to use the beads, the dive bomb, his whole team's rotating in the back end to try to get him there, but he's going to be forced to use the Aegis. There's the Kepriult on top as well. He might be able to stay alive. He's going to use his own Aegis to stay alive even longer, and he somehow made it out of this fight, Valve, as Elemental are completely forced out. Vulcan Headlights going to be immediately taken out by the Final Judgment after his Aegis runs down. Really well done from Marvindo, and it is going to be a 1-for-0 trade after a crazy fight from Elemental.
Can I just say I love that Marvindo? I think YA is pretty creative sometimes, but Marvindo, that's actually a pretty funny one. But that he doesn't even need the Ganesh CC. He just goes straight up, gives Vulcan's Headlights the thought ultimate, that Final Judgment, telling him he's going into the ground here. Now, since we have this lull here, some of us might get caught out here alone. No, the stun does not connect. But while we have this lull here, I keep trying to speak and I keep fighting. Stop.
It's okay. It's okay. They're just showing each other that they're men. It's all right. What are you
they're just slapping each other with their fists and other things. It's okay. Now, getting forced out here, no engagement, but the variety in the builds coming from the jungle, the solo, and the supports actually the supports are a little bit different, but it's not it's like the usual, and the ADCs. Every role here has built differently.
Yeah, Cernos going to take out the T1 right on the right side, but the T1 middle is going to fall on the other end. Even trade, T1 for T1. As it looks like Dragon's looking to try to push their lead even further. Even at 4,000, it hasn't changed altogether too much. But there's the Hunbot's ulti on a Tiger Star. He's been sundered. He's going to be immediately exploded. No ult for you, sir. As they're going to look for this T2 tower. But on the right side, Wolven is still slow pushing and can probably get this T2 himself if he gets a little bit of time bought for his team.
But here, the disadvantage of that, losing both towers in the mid lane, teleport coming out of the below, and Cernos can no longer push this. And they're going to lose their right side. Hoppo again getting caught out alone here.
Yeah, there's a Ganesh ult as well on top of the Final Judgment. And that's going to be a free kill taken out. Hotbo, goodbye, sir. None of that. There's the throw as well on Vulcan's Headlights, but there's the Sunder as well. But Kepri's going to get him at a dodge, but can he continue to escape? There's the Zeus ult onto himself. Not going to hit anybody, but is going to zone out the enemy team, and he is going to be able to get out of there. Nice Kepri ult.
When I think about it, there's things only Smite players will know. Nobody else will understand the feeling, how it feels to get double tapped by a Thor. Disgusting. Fire Giant being started by Elemental here, looking to make a comeback here. Everybody on the side of Dragonite Esports is either backing or looking to. They don't know it's here. Thor is just zoning right now. This could be done incredibly quickly, and I think they're going to get it.
Yeah, Elemental is going to pick it up. Really well done. They're going to pick this up. No problems there. And they are going to be put in a really good spot now to try to push down some of these towers and get this gold lead back to even.
That definitely put them back, Elemental back into this game. That was an incredible call from whoever did that call. I'm going to assume it was the support of the jungle, because that's normally the shot callers, but you never know. Maybe Marvindo threw in a call. Like, you know what, guys? Let's just do Fire Giant. Gold Fury in response by Dragonites here. So, since there's now a lull and I can finally speak my mind, the item builds are so different from everybody on this team. What do you say about that?
Yeah, definitely really interesting. I think what's really shaking up some of these assassin builds and warrior builds is Shifter Shield. They buffed it. They gave it a lot more physical power. Pretty sure they kept the protection as well, but I think they also dropped the cost as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they dropped the cost. They dropped some of the base stats the item gives you, but increased the passive of it.
Yeah, I definitely think
that's made it
you're
so
right.
powerful for ability-based junglers like Hunbats and Thor.
Yeah,
and even Wukong here picking it up.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. I think it looks like it can be a really good item, and it's definitely cheap and gives you a lot of physical power, and kind of fits the same spot where like Hydras or Transcendence might fit, where you just want a big power spike item, but you don't necessarily need the pen. Frosty sitting here on the left side, gonna go in for the Eagles Rally, 3-man caught, but immediately silenced out. There's a Ganesh ult and the Hoonboss. This is just a bunch of ults on top of each other. Tiger Slayer is once again the first to fall, getting caught out. Ganesh ult is finally gonna be placed down onto a certain result. Final Judgment does hit on 2. There's the throw as well into a Blitzcall, but he's gonna be taking a Kepri ult, and now laid to rest with no escape. He's going to be the next to fall. Jin is going to be the next, as Blitzkov gets the final credit on him, and now Dragon Knights completely routes Elemental as they're looking for more.
They are looking for more now, but that fight went so well for Dragon Knights, and Cernos may fall here as well. His dash is down, his Aegis is out, but he's still going to fall.
Yeah, there's the
damage from
detonate.
Vulcan's headlights. Detonate, he is done.
Yeah, and 4 for Otrey. Dragon Knights fighting into a Fire Giant supported team. They do have quite a big lead now. It's extended to about 9,000, I want to say 8,500. They're just going to back and buy. Probably go for this Portal Demon after they come back out of the base. But really well done from Dragon Knights. And the ult by Bologna over the wall to start off the team fight, hitting 3 members, was so crucial
Forcing
there.
the beads out of Cernos as well, which was insane. Now, you look at the player damage charts. Guess who's sitting at the top? Vulcan's headlights on the Zeus. This Zeus is tearing it up right now. The amount of damage he's able to put out is destroying Elemental GG. If you could see the visible chunks coming out of Dragon Knights. It's actually disgusting, but now that I'm thinking about it. But starting up the Portal Demon, Dragon Knight here.
Yeah, Dragon Knights are going to secure it. Going to be the Zeus ult used as well to try to zone away, and it looks like Dragon doesn't really want to fight. They're not in such a great position. Sporting's just going to back away, but they can definitely look to push these Phoenixes if they're feeling ballsy. They have such a large lead, about 8,500 to 9,000, depending on wave to wave and how we're looking at it. But overall, they've done such a good job of winning these team fights. They have pretty good wardage, probably about the same as Elemental does. But they're definitely buying a lot more sentry wards in this mid to late game.
Okay, what do you think is going wrong for Elemental right now? Is it just? I think it's just because they're just behind. And they're just getting shredded by the Zeus. They're not able to focus.
I think really what the problem is that there's in their team comp, there's no real hard initiator. So Tiger Slayer is getting blown up before he can even get his ult off most of these times due to Sunder and just getting caught out in the front line when the rest of his team is forced to disengage. And because he's so far behind, he can't soak enough damage and get into his ultimate so that he can get his team into a position where they can counter engage with the Thoth ult, with the Ganesha ult, with the Cern ult, with the Thor ult, which is one of the best counter engage ultimates in the game. And because he's getting blown up at the beginning of these fights, because he's not tanky enough and his team is just so far behind, they aren't able to counter engage. And with no counter engage and no engage, they can't get the better of these team fights, I think.
Rotation towards the Fire Giant by Dragon Knights here. Looking to catch up, maybe Vulcan's headlights. No, the stun does not connect, but like this Zeus needs to be the focus of Elemental. If they need to throw 2 people at him, trade him for 2 people, I think they should do it because the fight kind of falls apart.
Definitely. Marvindo possibly getting caught here. There's the Hoonbut's ult and the leap as well over the wall. There's Bologna Judgment as Thoth is forced to burn his Aegis. Ganesh ult used as well to try to get them out of dodge. There's actually Belt of Frenzy is looking for more, but untouched is Dragon Knights. All 5 players are essentially full health as Frosty looks for more. Marvindo being forced completely back, and it looks like Dragon's going to push for this Phoenix.
Marvindo got completely engaged on Force his beads and his Aegis at the start of that fight, forcing Elemental completely back due to that falling of the actives on Marvindo and his life almost falling as well.
Yeah, and it's just so crucial that Bologna is just getting these ults as the engage. Basically playing full aggro, hard engage. Frosty has started off so many of these teamfights, if not every single one of them. Definitely playing the engage role it needs, but now Tiger Slayer's been caught again, and he's completely exploded, and this is just the story of this game. There's just no frontline for Elemental before these teamfights even start.
I think every single tank and Thor should grab a Magi's. How are they going to pop it? They can pop it with Scourge. Okay. That's the only ranged ability that they could pop it with, right?
And the Fire Giant is going to go to Elemental! The Thor ult is going to steal it away! Cernos ult to try to get away. Blitzkrieg needs to Sunder onto laid to rest. Aegis going to be used to fall, but he's probably going to die really shortly. There's the dive bomb, and he's not going to teleport away with the hammer, but he's already done his job. Zeus ult as well. Min is going to be the next to fall. There's no way he gets out of this one. Even with a good silence and dash. No, he might actually get away, but no, the Sunder from Supportance. A little cheeky play. There's the Blink ulti. Marvindo's the next to fall. Blitzkrieg. And as they lose the Fire Giant to a cheeky steal from Thor, they're going to completely rout Elemental, and that's a 4 for O trade.
Now, interesting little side note here. Supportance actually has been on a few different teams. He's playing exceptionally well this match, but he was actually, I'm pretty good friends with Supportance. He was actually considering switching roles for a while, but right now I don't think he should switch roles. He's playing lights out right now on this Khepri. Sitting 1-1-14, doing work right now, protecting everybody on his team, playing this backline support like he should.
Yeah, and all three backline for Dragon Knights all three carries have played quite well this game, but I think really the stars of this team so far are the front line. Bologna, Frosty's playing out of his mind, and Supportance has done such a great job of keeping his carries alive, specifically the Zeus, when he does get focused in a lot of these team fights.
At first, I was having doubts about the Khepri pick. I was like, oh, they should have Fafnir or Terra, but now I don't doubt it at all. He's playing very well right now, playing perfectly. Khepri is a lot different from a lot of other supports. Khepri has to play in the backline. He's not that frontline initiating tank like, for example, Bologna or Fafnir. He is the one who needs to sit in the backline, wait for some abilities to be down, throw his abilities, weave them in, give his protection to his teammates, all that stuff, and Sportnance is doing that perfectly right now. Only pushing up when he knows he can get a secure grab where he won't die, and his team will be able to get the kill guaranteed. Doing great work right now.
I think the difference between these two teams right now is that and maybe it's just age, how long a lot of these players have been around, but it just seems like Dragon Knights have more of an understanding of what they're meant to do, and not just meant to do like meant to pick or do in the lane, but when
what
they come into these team fights, but what
to.
their characters are supposed to do, but also what their roles are meant to do in the team as it is, not just as players. So Bologna, Frosty playing this initiator as we keep talking about, Khepri and Supportance playing a healer, which I've almost entirely in the PSL seen him play on peeler gods like Geb, like Khepri. And it's definitely been really popular for him, but at the same time, Vulcan's Headlights, Hoppo, knowing that they need to sit in the back and carry, Blitzkov knowing he needs to counter-engage, and it just seems like all these players have a really good concept of what they're meant to do.
Looking at that, I know this is a fairly new together team. I had originally, I'd asked Blitzkov to try out for my team, or he had wanted to try out for my team, and then when I told him that we could set up a trial for him, he was like, I'm actually going to set up my own team, and that was quite recently. That was within the week, I believe, and now this team is playing exceptionally well right now.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the experience of a lot of these players, and I mean, I don't know what rank they are, but they've been, I think almost every single one of these players, I think except for, I mean, Hoppo has been around the scene for a long time, but Ferocity as well. Is probably the only just straight up new player that we've seen, completely new player that we've seen.
I've never seen Ferocity in casuals and ranked, never. I've never seen Tiger Slayer either. A lot of these players are new, getting a little bit of spotlight here in the PSL. I think that's like the purpose of the PSL, wasn't it? To give some new players some spotlight and to have a fun amateur league.
Yeah, it's definitely what the intention was. Laid to Rest, I don't know, is he spotted on this ward?
No, he's not. That ward cannot see him.
He's not, as the camera decides to hate me right now as I'm trying to figure out what is going on as it finally works for my best advantage. Laid to Rest going in, but not going to get much. Sundered, and Huyi ulted. He's got nowhere to go. Huge 4-man Cernos ultimate, but not much is going to come of it. Wolven sitting in the Zeus ultimate. Unfortunately, the Eagles Rally going to be used and wasted. Not going to land on anybody, but Frosty is going to look to force out Dragon Knights, and Elemental is going to pick up this Phoenix in just a moment as they hit the last couple autos from Hoppo. Final Judgment is not going to is going to miss, excuse me. Supportance being possibly focused out, but is going to get away. No problem there. Hoppo going in for more, but the Chain Lightning destroys Marvindo. He's got nowhere to go. Ferocity looking for more, but going to be forced out by Wolven as the creeps are onto this Titan.
Dragon Knights looking to close out the game as Tiger Slayer getting picked here. They're not going to push the issue though. They're going to look for the Phoenix. Bologna's going to tank it up a bit. They're going to look to give her some protections with the Khepri here. She actually may fall to the Phoenix here.
No. This is a exceedingly tanky Bologna. Look at the build. Mystical Mail, Pestilence, Shogun's Kasari, and now probably going into a Spirit Robe or Mantle, either way, with the Hide-and-Mean line as well. So, excuse me, I forgot that one. Got a lot of physical protection. This tower probably does like 50 damage a tick.
The tower damage does increase over time, but I don't think that increasing damage scared Ferocity in the slightest bit here. Now, where do you go from here if you're Elemental? You're down 2 Phoenixes. Fire Giant is up. How are you even going to manage?
I mean, you really have to win about 3 or 4 complete team wipes. I don't really think they're in any kind of position to do. I think you look back at this VOD off the stream. You look back at what we're kind of the input is. I think the input is Vulcan's Headlights has 30,000 player damage, and that's something that should be looked at. and then building some kind of initiator either in your solo or in your support, or even in your assassin. Thor has been looking for the counter engages, and you really have no way to start these fights when they've been in good positions. Elemental has had good trades. They've had good fights where they managed to get a couple picks because they managed to initiate in the early game. But in this mid to late game, they haven't been able to find any fights that they want, set their own pace. It's been Dragon Day Knights controlling all of it.
Now, interesting little tidbit here. If you look at the gold per minute charts, it's been like this the whole game. I've been watching it, but no, Cernanos more than likely dead here.
One more auto will do it. There's the sun's gonna rain down. Picked up off of Blitzkrieg Blink Ultimate, forcing out Wolven's beads. And looks like this Phoenix is gonna be the third and final one to fall here. Free. I mean, this is what was that game from like 3 years ago? The Cloud9 comeback?
Cloud9 where
I don't think this is the same situation. There's the Girdle, Final Judgment on top, but there's the Titan, and that's the game. GG, Dragon Day Knights moves on to the semifinals.
Good job by Dragon Day Knights here, picking up the W. I think their next round is Abysmal Obscurity, and that's going to be a tough opponent for them. It's really going to prove themselves. Abysmal Obscurity in the Premier Division. Dragon Day Knights, I'm not even sure. Are they in the PSL?
Dragon Day Knights are not, because they're such a new team. I think they're looking to take an open spot, though. I think that is what their plan is. I think I talked to Wolven last night, unless I'm crazy. Or do they have a spot? No, Elemental does, but this new team from Vulcans doesn't. So I think they're looking for something more. Vulcans actually splitting off with this team, if I'm not mistaken. So either way,
he split off a team called Beyond Belief, I believe,
yes,
in the Challenge or Champions division.
Yeah, I think you're right there. So either way, that's going to be the game, guys. We're going to go to a quick loading screen, take a short break, but when we're going to come back, we're going to come back with the other side. I believe it's Nixios versus Voidwalkers, two teams who are also in the Premier, I believe. So we'll be right back, guys. Don't turn away. We're just going to play some music, and we'll be right back.
I think, yeah, we missed it. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
No picks and bans, but ladies and is silent unmuted? We're good? I think we're good.
Awkward.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, co-fefes, and everything in between, welcome
You had
to the Phoenix Smite League. What?
You,
I had to. What do you mean? Listen, the president and a select few know exactly what that means. I happen to be privileged enough to be among one of those select few.
I love how it's not even a complete thought either. Besides the point.
Yes, nonetheless, welcome back to the Phoenix Smite League Weekly Tournament. And apparently, we are Mr. Destructoiding because Silent Shadows has excellent audio settings.
Nice.
Very nice. Nonetheless, I suppose we should be on the way to get started shortly. Once Silent decides to unpause it. But in the meantime, we did miss picks and bans. We can get to those bans, though. At least the picks were on your screen for a brief moment. The bans were
Here.
Bologna,
Let's do this like this.
Raven, Poseidon, and Sol. Huh?
Let's just do this like this. Because we can't see the bands because Smite is
I can
bugged.
see the bans.
No. Like, we can't see the bands, like, all of them.
During
because
the ban
Smite
break,
is
I
bugged.
can see all the bans.
You can't see one of the bands on the side of Void.
I think that's a pass.
No, it's not. It's never been like that. Who passes in the tournament? Nobody passes in the tournament. Effman, have you played in any of these? Anyway, the side of Voidwalkers,
I'll have you know I have, okay?
Susano in the jungle. We're done with this. Susano in the jungle. Thoth in the mid, Fafnir and Hoyi in the dual lane. On side of Nixios, Blitzit on the Sun Wukong, Thor routing the Mexi, piling that Thor, Gambit on the Chunga, King Kyle 1 on the Capri, and Sin4 on Cernanos.
Very interesting compositions, and I can't say too much about these two teams because they've completely changed since I've last seen them.
They definitely have. I was once on a team with King. He actually subbed for one of my teams on Chicken Thigh Saviors. He was a sub for it. He unfortunately left that team, and now that team is no longer existing. XD.
Yes, well, until Silent Shadows has worked out the audio problems, though, we will be back shortly. One job, Silent.